The views expressed, opinions given, and any communication made between the hosts and guests of What Are You Afraid of Horror and Paranormal Show do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Para-X Radio, EMC Network, or all services that play this show. The hosts and services are not responsible for the actions of their guests, and the original rights of all intellectual property is retained by the creator, and all work is used with either permission or Creative Commons license. The show is for entertainment purposes only. I'm horror author T. Fox Dunham.
And I'm horror author and filmmaker Phil Thomas.
And tonight we're asking you,
what are you afraid of? Philadelphia's horror home with hosts T. Fox Dunham and Phil Thomas.
So when you go down to Philadelphia, Phil, what sort of public transportation do you like to take, or do you drive down?
I usually just drive down.
You just drive down?
Yeah. Actually, I've taken the train down before, but it's rare that I do that. I usually just drive down.
Yeah.
Sometimes I take the train, though.
Where do you park?
Well, it depends on where I'm going.
Yeah.
It really does depend. I mean, I'll just find a lot. Parking on the street's really difficult to find a spot.
Yeah.
So usually I'll just find a lot. I'm going down to a venue, like Trocadero or something, you know. There's lots around and things like that. When we used to go to Shampoo, there's a lot there. That's usually what I look for, you know. And if we're going down to some place that I know there's not a lot close by, then usually we will take the train.
Okay.
Because we're going to be driving around for a long time, an hour or something, looking for a spot that could be 4 blocks away or whatnot, you know.
It is a bit of a pain, especially on the weekend, on night. Parking can be a bit expensive, though, too. I mean, it's kind of...
Yeah, it can, yeah.
And, you know, they're installing all the new card readings at Red Eye. You fill up a card, like an Oyster card, you hit the receiver, you walk right in.
Right.
I was just down last Friday seeing my oral surgeon again and getting some blood work done. And Philadelphia's beautiful this summer.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Now, this is episode 84 of What Are You Afraid of? Thank you to everybody for coming back to 84 episodes.
Yeah, 84, almost 85.
Yeah, it's a good show. We got a ghost story. We've got part 2 of the interview we did with Angela Thomas for our Psychic Summer.
Right.
So she's back on part 2. And she's going to be coming on a third time to talk about her ghost stories.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. Yeah,
that'll be cool.
Angela's a lot of fun.
Looking forward to that.
And I got to talk to you. I got to work out some scheduling.
Yeah.
But I was talking to C. Henry Roy over at Crime Wave Press today about getting Christopher Roy. He's the gentleman in jail.
Right.
When he was 18. He wrote Marsh Madness.
Yes, he did.
So we are going to bring him on the show from jail.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So we're talking about going down the city. I was just down there Friday, and I was researching some stuff for tonight. And I was looking for some folklore around Philadelphia, and I came across a very interesting story about a phantom bus.
You're explaining this. This is really strange.
Or they call it the zero bus, or the bus without destination.
Right.
If you find a story like that, you want to know if it's one person who told this story, or if it's popped up multiple times. Which is easy to do now because people put up lots of folklore and ghost stories. So you type it in and you see what comes up.
Right, exactly.
So I found multiple iterations of this urban legend on several websites reported over the years.
Okay.
And now what struck me so odd about this was that I was just down in early April, if you recall, when they had to do the emergency surgery, and I got very sick.
Right.
But for a while there I was okay. I was kind of shell-shocked because I didn't know they were going to do it. They didn't know they were going to do it. So I was walking around Philadelphia with all this gauze in my mouth. I needed to calm down. I needed a drink. So first I tried to go to this didn't get a drink there. There's a Civil War Society in Philadelphia I wanted to visit. I wanted to check them out, but they're only open on certain days. So after I struck out there, I wanted a drink, so I went down to a place called the Dandelion.
Okay.
Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it, yes.
In Rittenhouse Square. Right down there in the theater district.
Yeah.
And they serve some great drinks, and they're just a nice atmosphere, and they opened up at 11:30. So as I was going down there, this bus pulls up that looked old.
Okay.
And I'm not going to tell the story now because I narrated it.
Right.
For episode 84, and it's interesting because I didn't think of it until I read about this today, and I went, oh my word. You know, it's funny how we encounter ghosts and don't even realize it.
Yeah, I know. You probably didn't even think about it.
No, I just, I don't like the bus.
Right.
I take trains. I don't care for the bus. I can't figure buses out. They stop in all these weird places. You don't know where they're going next. You don't know if you're supposed to pull the cord. You need exact trains. I don't like buses.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a big bus fan myself. I mean, I like train.
And this is another reason I don't like buses. As I describe in The Ghost Bus of Philadelphia, our ghost story for episode 84 of What Are You Afraid of? Horror and Paranormal Show. The Phantom Bus of Philadelphia, written and read by horror author T. Fox Dunham, based on true experiences and urban legends of Philadelphia. I didn't see a bus stop or a sign on Broad Street when I turned the corner, heading south to Rittenhouse Square after getting off of the MFL at Suburban Station. City Hall loomed behind me, its pillars reaching into the cloudy sky. Usually I adore traveling into the city of Philadelphia at any time of the year, and I tried to make the best of the cooler day, carrying my laptop on my back, walking to the Dandelion pub for an early drink, and maybe some writing. My jaw ached from the emergency surgery the oral specialist at Penn had to perform that morning, the beginning of an intense and painful series of procedures I would need to go through to keep infection from spreading down the scar tissue left over from radiation treatment for cancer. Blood dripped in my mouth, gagging me, and I sucked on gauze and tried to ignore it, focusing on a day of writing at one of my favorite English pubs in Center City. Despair overwhelmed me, having learned of the painful surgeries that awaited me. 12 more times this would need to be done, and I once again felt broken and lost from cancer, filling up with the dark clouds obscuring the Philly skyline. As I walked alone, feeling early rain spit among the buildings, a curious and lonely SEPTA bus pulled up along the curb as if looking to pick me up. The old bus, unusually covered in a film of dirt and in need of a paint job, stopped just at my shoulder, hissed to release its pressure, then opened its door. I couldn't make out a driver in the elevated pilot seat, just a pair of legs on the seat. The electronic marquee merely said SEPTA, not announcing a destination or promoting the Phillies. An automatic voice, yet duller, vacant than I was used to hearing on the SEPTA system, said the street name, Broad Street Line, but again announced no destination. This was unusual. I could make out gray and frowning faces in the murky windows. The bus air chilled, smelled of electrical ozone, and yet I felt a pull to board the bus, though it was a strange impulse, being that I never used the Philadelphia bus system, preferring the trains, as regulated secretly by my friend Bill of Barnes & Noble in Montgomery Township. Hi, Bill. Urban legends say every city has a phantom or wandering bus. People call it the Zero, the random bus, the wandering bus, or just the bus. Many have reported this phantom bus over the years since public transportation began in Philadelphia. It is said the bus arrives at dark times in people's lives, as if drawn to radiating despair when a person is down in their life. Reports have come from drug addicts, people mourning family members, cheating spouses, the newly dying, the sick, the depressed, suicidal, or even politicians facing public scandal. It's even said that a city mayor and even the general manager for the Phillies have ridden this bus. The bus pulls up, opens its clunky doors, and the lost one's board, never giving a destination to the Inhote pilot, his face hidden with a blue hat. Just drive, they say, most sitting sans a deposit of a fare. Money is not required, just tears. The bus is not punishment, but more of a purgatory. No matter the reason, it comes for those who must leave or no longer wish to stay. It has been seen in Fishtown, off South Street, and Center City. It drives down Passyunk, Haverford, and West Philadelphia. If you don't need the wandering bus, you don't notice it, and it always gives you a choice whether to board. No one speaks on the bus, though it is not enforced like a SEPTA quiet car. People feel no desire to speak, and a susurrus whispering noise radiates in dark symphony to the moaning and droning sound of the ancient engine that grinds and turns. Passengers can sit on the same seat for hours, days, even weeks, lost in the repeating nightmare of the hell currently haunting their lives. Sometimes, if they are lucky, a spark of light shines through the mental fog, reviving them enough to wake. At random times, sans any inspiration or destination, eventually a dismal passenger will feel the need to yank the cord and depart, though it is said some have ridden the bus for years, never aging and always waiting. Those with the fortune to depart, unable or unwilling to escape the pain and darkness haunting their lives, quickly lose memory of their phantom passage. The memories wash away like dream recollections after waking, and only brief visions remain drenched in a terrible sense of regret and terror. I declined to board. I still had work to do, and I would face the medical battle that was coming. I wanted to stay here with my wife, and a drink awaited me at the Dandelion. After waiting, the bus shut its doors as if in disappointment and ghosted down to Center City, vanishing into the city traffic. A weight lifted from me as it passed, withdrawing its choice to escape. Had it come to grant a wish? A city legend states that if you ride the bus long enough, it will eventually drive so far that it will take you to a place in time before your troubles began. When I arrived at the pub and waited for it to open, a gentleman was talking to himself, oblivious to anyone around him. I said hello and it shocked him. He said most people never noticed him, that he was a ghost, though not a real ghost, and he was quite delighted that I'd said hello. I didn't really notice this encounter until I began researching more Philadelphia urban legends, and I recalled what had happened on that cold morning of April 2018. I didn't really pay attention to this encounter, considering it a fluke, until I started researching Philadelphia urban legends for What Are You Afraid of Horror and Paranormal Show. And that's when I recalled this phantom public transport on that cold morning in April 2018, and I wondered, was that the phantom bus stopping for me? I chose not to board the bus. I will face my dark times and come through the other side. But what would you do? Would you board the bus and be lost, a melting soul wasting away in desperate hope of going back in time? Either way, bring exact fare. Not change, but your despair.
Are you in the Bucks County area, second weekend of June, and in need of a bit of spooky? What Are You Afraid of? Paranormal Show will be at the first Paranormal Expo at Selma in Norristown, PA. Special guest, P.D. Kazak, horror author and winner of the Bram Stoker Award. Selma Mansion is one of Bucks County's most haunted sites, where guests see candles burning in the windows, spirits moving in the night, and hear the voices of the dead. Come visit horror authors T. Fox, Dunham, Phil Thomas, and P.D. Kazak on June 9th and 10th at 1304 West Harry Street, Norristown, PA. Stay for the cadre of speakers and workshops with famous ghost hunters and paranormal authors. Check out their website at www.whatyourfreedompodcast.com for ticket information. Children under 12 are free. Paranormal investigation, $40, sold separately. Psychics, ghost hunters, storytellers, and maybe if you will pass through to the other side. Oh, and Phil and Fox and PD. Oh my.
Are you haunted by shadow people in the middle of the night?
Do you secretly love all things creepy and spooky, enjoying ghost stories and horror fiction from the best storytellers?
Do you have a true ghost experience you want to share, but no one will believe you?
If yes, listen to the professionals on What Are You Afraid of? Horror Paranormal Show, Friday nights at 9 p.m. on Para X Radio and at www.whatyourafraidofpodcast.com.
What are you afraid of on Para X?
Our creepy and demented hosts are on call to provide you with all your spooky needs with true ghost stories, interviews, indie music, and new horror fiction. We are ready to scare you.
Para X.
In the future, roving bands of comic book podcasts will savage the wasteland, once known as the Internet. One podcast, the Grolix Podcast, may not be the biggest, may not be the funniest, may not be the most well-spoken. Wait, what was my point again? Oh yes, the Grolix Podcast. Listen to it at grolixpodcast.com. That's GRAWLIX podcast.com.
What are you afraid of?
Hi, I'm Tim Wagner, Bram Stoker award-winning author.
Hashtag Grave Girls.
This is Katrina Weidman of Destination America's Paranormal Lockdown.
This is Jim Chambers. I'm the author of The Engines of Sacrifice.
This is Jasper Barr, award-winning author of The Final Cut.
And you're listening to What Are You Afraid of?
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 Love it. Fantoxic, please. Fantoxic.
So what did you think when I told you about the ghost bus?
I didn't see it coming. I didn't know there was, and I think I did tell you this, I didn't know there was such a thing as a ghost bus. Mm-hmm. I thought there was just people or animals or whatnot, but not a actual vehicle of some kind. But
well,
apparently there is. There are ghost ships. That's right.
And there are ghost cars.
That's true. That's true.
You know, ghost highways, devil's highways, and things like that. So I guess
I never heard of a ghost bus, though.
I'm imagining if I dig through folklore further, I'm going to find references to ghost trains, references to ghost carriages, carriages of the dead, folklore about elevators, like the story from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, Room for One More.
Oh, I love that one, yeah.
Remember with the elevator and the hearse pulls up?
And room for one more. Room for one more.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, it was so...
It's great.
And like I said, I didn't even think about it. Here I am, my jaw was killing me. My face was killing me. I got all this blood in my mouth. I'm trying to deal with it. I can't even talk because I've got all this gauze. And my face is really numb. And all I want to do is probably the worst thing I could have done was get some liquor in me. The Dandelion makes this drink called the Canterbury Tales.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Expensive, but amazing.
Yeah.
Smooth and creamy. It was just such a lovely drink, and I set up with my laptop in the corner. I got there right away, so I found the one plug in the place. Either charged my phone, plugged in. They were bringing me Canterbury Tales. I was writing. I was on Facebook, so it's just, I was coming down from the whole thing, especially what I learned was going to happen in the future was very upsetting.
Right.
It didn't even dawn on me that this bus had stopped. I thought it was just a routine stop.
Okay.
And it was such an old bus, looking at it compared to the new ones they have now. And I just sort of looked at it and kept walking.
Okay, all right.
I don't like buses.
You don't like buses,
I don't like buses. I don't know where they go. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure, thinking back to it, that it may have been this phantom bus. And I was in a depressed...
and you were saying, and I was also reading that it usually appears to people that are in a very bad state.
Yeah, in some kind of bad state, some sort of despair.
Right.
It's drawn to despair, like a moth's drawn to a flame.
Right.
And people get on this bus, and I hear tell that they're gone. They can be gone for years.
Wow. So if you had gotten on the bus, we would be putting out missing posters on Fox.
Yeah, I'd be on the back of milk cartons.
Yeah.
What are you afraid of? Are you our host? No, you said
what are you afraid of? Co-host is missing.
No, you had said that if you had seen this bus, you would have gotten on.
I would have. If it looked like that, and if I had known what it was, I would have just out of curiosity would have seen what it was.
Gotten on the bus.
Yeah.
I mean, and here's the other thing: nobody carries cash anymore.
No, I know.
Nobody. It's like you don't have exact change. You've got a credit card.
Right.
I did the stupidest thing, by the way. I was getting on the train from Chestnut Hill to go down last Friday to see that oral surgeon again, and then I had to get blood work done and saw some of the doctors going down to Penn Presbyterian. And I had this stuff in my lap. I was tired. I wasn't feeling well. I had a fever. And I got up. Allison dropped me off. I go in to buy a ticket. Luckily, I was buying it, and I couldn't find my wallet.
Okay.
I was like, holy crap. Where's my wallet? And I thought maybe I'd left it in the car. So I called her, and she comes running back. And something in my head, psychic or not, just said, go look out on the road.
Right.
And I walked back out, and there was the British flag sitting in the middle of the road.
Okay.
Like, oh, my God. And all I could think about was sometimes you get on the train and you buy a ticket on the train.
Right.
What if I had gotten on to get a ticket and didn't have my wallet?
Right.
It would have been a nightmare.
Yes, it would have.
An absolute nightmare.
Right. Yeah, it would have.
But that's our ghost story in episode 84, and beware of phantom buses.
If you live in Philly... Yeah. And you happen to be down there and you're not having a great day, keep an eye out for it because
see the buzz.
It might appear.
It might appear, yeah. I read that the manager of the Phillies can now be found on the bus after last year.
Right, yeah.
I wonder.
Yeah.
Speaking of SEPTA, hey, Bill!
Hey, Bill.
That's our buddy Bill.
Yeah, he works for SEPTA.
He works for SEPTA. He's down there. He's probably listening to the show right now at 3 in the morning, driving down to Philly. Bill.
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 Bill. Bill is on his way to work at SEPTA in Philly. He's glad it's nearly summertime, so he won't be silly.
Bill.
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 That's our friend Bill.
Hey, Bill.
We love Bill.
You know what? I think Bill is the driver of that bus.
He might be. And I've known him the whole time.
You know him the whole time.
Oh, this is getting creepy. This is like one of those M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong.
M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong.
Ding Dong endings. Bill is the phantom driver.
Yes, he is.
Honk honk.
He's been keeping it from you a very long time.
Beep. Beep. Billy. I'm sure Bill. Don't swerve off the road.
No,
don't. Sure, he's laughing right now.
Bill, if you're the phantom driver, you have
we don't have exact change. If Bill were the driver and that bus were going into like the nether region for a couple of years and we had Netflix, Awesome.
That's right.
I dig that.
We'd come out of the nether region seeing every show possible on Netflix.
But it's been fun. Yeah. Angela Thomas is back on the show.
Yes, she is.
Part 2. She's been wonderful. There seems to be different flavors of psychics out there who all sort of have their own niche.
Right.
You know, and she's a teacher.
Right, yeah.
She's out there to help you expand your mind.
We were talking about this yesterday. Margot Kidder passed away.
She did.
Yeah.
Margot Kidder.
Superman. She was Lois Lane in the original.
Amityville Horror.
Superman. Actually, all 4 Superman.
Yeah, she was. She played. Yeah.
The Christopher Reeve ones, and she was in Amityville and Black Christmas.
Black Christmas. You were talking about Black Christmas. Now tell me about Black Christmas.
Black Christmas is one of my favorite horror movies. Actually, it actually is a precursor to Halloween.
Okay.
And John Carpenter, I believe, worked on Black Christmas.
Okay.
He was there firsthand, and he saw this movie being made. Black Christmas was early 70s. Now, Halloween came out in 78. It's a very similar style.
Okay.
The point of view shots.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, love that. The Carpenter.
Black Christmas is one of the first horror movies that actually utilizes this point of view. And this guy, he's a killer, and he stalks a sorority house on a college campus. And Margot Kidder is one of the sorority girls, college students.
She had to be young.
She was very young. This was before Superman even. This was like 73, 74. I mean, it's her along with a bunch of other girls, and it's Christmas time, so a lot of them go away. They go home for the holidays. It's a very, like a skeleton crew shift there. The house mother's there, but not many other people are, not even the students. You know, there's only a few select that stayed back.
Right.
And this guy, in the very opening of the movie, you just see his point of view, climbing up this side of the sorority house, and climbing in through a top attic window. He's in the house for the entire movie, and the audience knows that he's up there and they're downstairs.
Okay.
Anyone that goes up, right?
Wow.
He keeps prank calling them from upstairs.
Oh.
And they're answering the phone downstairs.
The old urban legend.
Yeah. But that's what, and I don't know how old the urban legend is. I think it kind of might have originated from that movie because it's a really early movie.
Before we were born.
They called him, it was. They called him the Moaner. They called him the Moaner, right? They tried to trace the call, and they eventually find out, and they warn them, look, the calls are coming from inside the house.
Yeah.
Get out. You know? Yeah. You never find out who this guy is.
Yeah. He's just
you never find out who he is. They never catch him.
Right.
He's never identified. It's really open-ended, and it's really creepy like that.
It's just atmosphere.
Yeah, and if it was made today, they would wrap it up in a nice little bow.
Yeah.
This is who he is. This is where he came from. This is what he's doing.
It's secretly the girl.
Right.
And like Shamalam Lum Ding Dong.
Yeah.
Yep. Don't even know what that means.
Right. So it basically the ending, and I can't really blow it because the ending makes you interpret it the way you want to. It doesn't tell you. You have to think what you want.
Right.
Take away from it what you feel. So
I like that. That sounds cool.
I'll let you borrow it.
You got the DVD.
I got the Blu-ray. Yeah.
Right, you lend me that. You lend me that. I will loan you Thor 3 Ragnarok.
Okay. All right.
Have you seen Thor 3?
I've not seen it yet.
I like Thor 3.
Is it good?
Yeah, some Led Zeppelin in there.
Oh, really?
They got a great soundtrack.
Nice.
And they did it like an 80s fantasy adventure, sort of heavy metal kind of thing.
Okay.
The whole thing is very like 80s film.
I like that.
Like they went back to it, and
it's kind of like like the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's got an
Guardians of the Galaxy did the
vibe to it.
Love Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, me too. I like them. They're great.
And
do you have Amityville? Do you own it?
I do somewhere.
You do somewhere. Okay.
Yeah, I do.
I would say I had that on Blu-ray too. If you want to borrow that.
Yeah, I have the original. It's a Halloween thing.
Yeah.
I should read the book again.
I don't know if you've ever seen Amityville 2, The Possession.
Amityville 2 was the story of the DeFeos.
Yeah.
It's all about their story and Ronnie DeFeo and his possession and...
Right. I actually like that one. It's not bad.
And Amityville 3 is sort of that weird one about the guy who was supposed to psychics, and it was 3D, and that thing comes out of the well.
Yep.
And then there was one about a lamp. Remember the lamp one?
Oh, God, which one was that?
Well, it begins... It was like Amityville 23, the evil lamp.
Okay.
The curse of GE. But it begins with like this army of priests descending on the house, and they do this exorcism and like driving the demons out, and the demon finds lodging in this ornate lamp.
Okay.
And the lamp gets sold, and somebody down the shore buys it for their beach house.
Okay.
And of course it possesses that house.
Really?
And you know how the movie ends? They bring in an army of priests who, that's a...
That sounds good. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, it's just horror movies, the Amityville 50, the Curse of McDonald's.
Right.
But Angela Thomas is back.
Okay.
Yeah, for our Para X listeners, she is back on What Are You Afraid of? Horror and Paranormal Show. She's a lovely person, a wonderful psychic, a healer, and a gifted teacher.
Okay.
And this is Angela Thomas on What Are You Afraid of? Horror and Paranormal Show.
Join us for a journey of the mind on Psychic Spring on What Are You Afraid of? Horror and Paranormal Show.
Returning now with Angela Thomas, we're having an excellent conversation. She's a phenomenal psychic, an author, a teacher, and a philosopher. And we have some more questions for Angela, such as, what was the defining moment when you decided to go forward and proactively do psychic work?
Wow, Fox, I remember that as yesterday, just like yesterday. I have to share with your audience that I, at one time, worked for a Fortune 100 corporation, and I was in sales. And so, I made a decent salary and commission and so on and so forth. And I was still working for the corporation, and I had done a reading for someone. And if you remember the old AOL chat room or texting, right? That's how I did the reading for somebody else in another state. But what came up in that reading was that I was telling the person I was reading for that between 2 hours to 2 days, that there would be a woman named Barbara that would call and that you should help her immediately. And she goes, well, Angela, I don't know a Barbara. And my spirit guides said, yes, she does. She knows Barbara. And I said, yes, you do. And she said, look, I don't socialize with any Barbara. I have no relatives. I don't work with anyone named Barbara. She said, Angela, I recognize the things that you said before in your reading, but I'm telling you flatly, I don't know a Barbara. So I said, well, I'm just the messenger, right? So take the message, do with it what you will. Well, at around 2:30 in the morning, following the reading, so I did this about 7 o'clock in the evening, about 2:30 in the morning, she receives a phone call, and guess who it's from?
Barbara, right?
It's Barbara. And Barbara happened to be this woman's neighbor from across the street. The neighbor was an invalid, elderly woman, and her adult daughter was named Barbara. So Barbara was there, of course, taking care of her mother, and the house caught fire. So Barbara, of course, called her to say, help me, please, get my mother out of the house. So when that woman that I read for contacted me about Barbara, I knew right then and there that I had to, supply this service or help individuals with my ability to tap into the future. Now, normally I don't go beyond 18 months. I try to stay within that time frame. But I do believe that psychics and intuitives can help individuals with either supplying the information so that person can make a more informed decision, or giving them information such as my example of the reading where Barbara entered the reading. And so, I just feel that when that woman answered the phone and that woman was screaming for help, this is Barbara, help me. She knew then that I had said earlier that evening, to whatever you do, you need to help this woman, right? So she knew right away that this was mega important. So, yeah, Now, I have to say the only thing I would do differently is I would have kept my corporate job and not walked away from it completely. And I certainly do not recommend that individuals do that who wish to seek out providing psychic or clairvoyant or mediumship services. You want to keep that income and provide the services on the side until you, of course, build a business up that you feel comfortable with, so financially comfortable with.
Right. And the same goes with writers, too.
Absolutely.
It's getting more into the paranormal. And when we say paranormal, let's just say not commonly perceived. That's what I like to think of it as. Have you ever encountered anything extraordinary, such as a fairy or an angel?
I have. I've encountered an angel, and I also encountered what I'm going to say is an individual that was possessed by some sort of demon. So let me just start with the angel part. I had been taking care of my mother who had suffered 2 strokes, and here I was trying to build my business, take care of my mother, which was not able to do anything for herself at the time. And I felt like I was working 50-hour days around the clock. And so I was also helping with my father and doing everything 24/7 constantly. But I had an opportunity one day to go to the store, and I walked into the store, and Fox, out of nowhere, this African-American man, I would say probably in his 40s, appeared in front of me. I mean, just appeared. And I know I was paying attention. He appeared out of nowhere, and he didn't say hello. He said to me, "How shall I pray for you today?" I was floored because at the time, the concerns about my mother and my father and my finances and, everything was bearing on my shoulders. And I thought, I've got this man in front of me. It would take me an hour to tell him how I want you to pray for me today. And I just said, pray about everything. And he said, God bless you, and walked, past me. Well, I thought to myself, how rude, Angela, that you didn't even thank this man. So as he's walking past, I still, in my peripheral vision, have a bit of vision of him. But as he's walking past, I turn behind me to say thank you. And he was not there. There was no way where I was in the store. It was one of those big, long aisles in the store. There was nowhere that he could have physically escaped to or walked off or sprinted away from where I was. And so I just said, oh my gosh, I was visited by an angel. And to this day, truly I know in my heart and mind that that's what this angel, perceiving himself or putting himself in the body of another, came to me with. So yes, I've come across extraordinary things. I can also say, I did come across someone that was really possessed. And let me just preference this as saying that, some people that are considered mentally ill, let's say people that are institutionalized, some of those institutionalized individuals, I don't believe are mentally ill. I believe that they're possessed. I was at a friend's metaphysical shop, and I was helping out. It was after a big event in town. And I had another lady beside me, and I was behind the counter just trying to get ready to, end the day and this, that, and the other. And I heard the door open, and on the door was one of those little shop bells. I didn't bother to look up because here I had somebody beside me that was going to, do the sales or the customer service or, take care of the customers. She just kind of, went silent, and I'm still looking down at whatever I was doing. And all of a sudden I felt like a wall of energy, like somebody had shoved me in the chest, had pushed me. And I looked up, and Fox, there was a man that was, I have to tell you, at least, and I'm not exaggerating, at least 7 foot tall. Big, broad shoulders, but he had his head back, his eyes were rolled back in the back of his head. His body was convoluting and almost like a snake slithers, you know what I'm saying, when they're convoluting the body. He had saliva that was pouring from his mouth, some hanging at least 12 or 14 inches. He had mucus from the nose hanging at least 12 to 14 inches. The energy of this guy was not good at all. I mean, once I saw the sight, I was, even more frightened. But it was the powerful energy of this person that hit me like a ton of bricks. So thankfully, there was somebody with this man. And I said to the woman beside me that worked there at the shop, I said, he's got to go. They've got to go, and now. And somehow, she went and spoke to the woman that was with this, mammoth guy and got them out of there. The woman had said, well, I am a caregiver of this man, and I just wanted to go shopping. And I thought, that doesn't sound right to me. And after they left, of course, I locked the door. What it reminded me of is if you ever saw the movie Exorcist 3, and there was a nurse in there in that movie that had these huge, like, bone shears that doctors use. That's what it reminded me of, that the woman was not really a caregiver. And he was not somebody that you would wander around in public going shopping. There was no way. I mean, my father was in the medical field. I grew up in hospitals and around doctors and nurses. And I can tell you that no one that I've ever known would ever take, let's say, a patient out to go shopping. So this nurse or this caregiver reminded me of the nurse in Exorcist 3. So now I know the feeling of what a demonic possession feels like, or, what's coming off of their bodies, or what kind of energy is, filling up a room. Now I know how to recognize what is and isn't in front of me.
Oh, sounds like it was a frightening experience.
It was really frightening.
And I imagine it must have been disturbing on a psychic level, too.
I felt sick. I felt really sick. I was worried. I prayed and prayed, and I went into the shop and grabbed crystals and rocks, and I was, moving them in my hands and moving them on my body, and I was doing everything I could to get rid of the energy that had touched me physically.
You also do a lot of work teaching people how to avoid psychics who are frauds.
Yes.
What should our listeners watch out for?
Well, thank you for even mentioning that, Fox, because I have a good friend of mine, and she and I co-founded Your Psychic Services business. And we did that so that people that were psychics and intuitives that offered any sort of service such as that to individuals would do so upright, use some standards and some morals, et cetera, et cetera. But there are a lot of psychic scammers out there. So somebody might read a book, or really most people don't read, or at least the younger ones don't read as much as, let's say, my age. But they might scan a book or go, you know what, I'm just going to pretend to be a psychic and I'm going to take people's money. So what you want to do is, number one, try to research someone, or at least get testimonials, whether those are from people within your own local community, or whether you jump online and try to do some background on that individual. But what a lot of scammers do is they might say, Fox, for this, for the use of this crystal for 1 week, that'll be $700. Now, this is what I want you to do with this crystal. After 1 week, I need you to return it, or I'm going to have to charge you more. But if you do what I've told you to do with this crystal, your problem is going to go away. And that is not true. Or, take this candle that I'm selling you for $200. Which, might have cost them 50 cents or $1 at the, Dollar Tree. Mm-hmm. And if you do this and if you do that, your problem will either improve dramatically or disappear. So you have to watch for those type of people. Now, I've never been associated with those, call the telephone psychic kind of thing, like, okay, I'm going to spend, I don't know, say $4.99 a minute or something like that. And I'm not suggesting that all telephone network psychics are scammers. Mm-hmm. But I am going to say some of them are. And what they want you to do is they want to keep you on the phone longer than what you intended. So they may be very slow with accessing information. They may ask you a lot of questions about yourself, et cetera, et cetera. Most psychics will not ask you a ton of questions. They're not going to go, you've got kids, right? Mm-hmm. Or you're working, right? They're not going to ask you questions like that. They're going to be able to say, listen, here's the information I'm getting about you. Personally, I don't go with a minute charge at all. I go by appointment only. I offer 30-minute sessions and 1-hour sessions. It is completely up to that client whether he or she wants to go 30 minutes or wants to go 1 hour. That's how I provide it. But a lot of psychic scammers out there that will take your money or tell you something to keep you in fear and anxiety. And they do that so that you will return back to those, psychics and mediums and clairvoyants again and again and again. So if I have worried your mind, Fox, mm-hmm. there's a good darn chance that you're going to call me within days or within the week or two to go, I'm out of my mind with fear, or I'm so worried about that. Will you do another reading for me? You see, and it becomes a catch-22.
Right.
So those are some of the few things that some of the psychic scammers do, and that's what your audience members can follow, is to just check out individuals before you get a reading with him or her.
Something else I also want to warn our audience about is cold reading, which is something it's an old practice, and I think anybody with a skeptical mind can see through it. But quite often, when a scammer talks to somebody, that person is giving them their belief initially. And, they're not doubting them initially because they want to believe. And so cold reading is that trick where they ask those generic questions that are common to anybody of a certain demographic that's going to prove true. And I find that when they hit a dead end, they jump tracks very quickly.
Certainly. And, I've seen that technique used, but I have to tell you that for me, I rarely see anyone in person. So I'm not there to see any face or body language or anything of that nature. If I do see someone in person, it's generally at an event. But if I'm in person with somebody, which I do not like being in person with someone because their energy just beats me up. But oftentimes they're scared to death that I'm going to tap into some information that, they want to remain private. So they may sit there, stone cold face. They don't move their bodies. They're just stiff as a board. But I see why they're doing it, because they don't want any cold readings. But I, on the other hand, when I read, I just say, I want you to sit back and listen to the messages. And you and I are not going to engage in dialogue. So, huge difference.
Could you share any experiences that you found intriguing in your work or even shocking?
Any experiences that I found intriguing or shocking? A lot of experiences that have been shocking. I guess, Fox, one of the things that I can say is I deal with such a diverse clientele worldwide that there are some incidences and things that have been said and shared with me, or that I have uncovered in readings, that are quite shocking. Even to, my logical mind as Angela, it may even take me out of psychic mode, where I had shifted my consciousness into another level. Now I'm back in this mode that I'm speaking to you in. That's how shocking it has been. But yes, there's been a number of things throughout my my psychic career that has really worn on my mind, that I can't get it out of my mind, because most, if I read for you within probably 10, 20 minutes, I don't even remember anything I've said to you. But there are things that still haunt me, and there are things that still come back into my mind. So yes, there's a lot of different things there.
Is there anything that comes to mind right now?
Yes, I can say to you that I was asked recently, and recently I guess being about 6-8 months ago, if I would look into psychically a cold case file. And this was a kidnapping of a 9-year-old girl back in 1989. And of course, I have to say that I felt pretty confident, that, well, at least I've got retrocognitive skills. I can go back in the past and see at least a portion of it. I had never gone back as far as 1989, and I had felt confident with doing that because I had worked with missing persons, missing children cases. So I said, sure, I'll provide you with some information. And this happened to be a friend of a homicide detective that had handled that case, and they had never caught the criminal or criminals that kidnapped and murdered this 9-year-old girl. And so I went through it, and the more that I was able to tap back into 1989, all right. And it was so shocking and so brutal that I said after I finished, and to this day, it still gets to me. I just said, I don't think I want to do any kind of crime victim recovery, anything anymore, if it's going to impact me like it has with this case. And what they did is they found this little 9-year-old girl taped to a tree, no clothes, Thanksgiving Day, winter, snow on the ground, dead. And it was just a vicious, vicious case. But a lot of things, yes, shocked me about human behavior, shocked me about human values and morals. Because just when we think we've heard it all or seen it all, folks, there's always something more.
That is shocking and frightening, and I can understand how that would leave such a terrible psychic toll on you. And it probably took some time to heal, especially being so personally connected and involved on the psychic level with all those, with the criminals, the police, the family, the victim.
Well, yes, and logic in the beta state of consciousness that you and I are in right now, we have empathy for family members, for friends, neighbors, co-workers, and I happen to be a mother and a grandmother, and so that case, hit me because I did have and do have grandchildren, and I go, oh my gosh, it's on a personal level. That's how it impacts you. But I mean, there are some positive things. There are really some positive things in this work. And that's what I enjoy giving to individuals that may be worried out of their minds. And then when I read for them, they are so happy. They go, you know what? I was worried to death about that. And thank you for the insights, because now I know it's not at all what I thought it was going to be like or what it is right now. And so there's positive and negative in readings, but I am not one that speaks about death. Oh, you're going to get injured or someone's going to die tonight or anything like that. That's not what readings are used for. They're not there to generate fear and anxiety. They're there to be helpful. Here's the information. You're a grown-up. Now go out and make the decision which is best for you.
So you're a counselor?
No. I mean, I just give I don't ever counsel, because I give the information as a psychic. Here's the information. You do with it, Fox, what you wish to do with it. I'm not going to tell you what you should do. Right? Now, if you came to me in a personal conversation and we sat down for a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and you asked my opinion, then of course I'll give you my opinion as Angela. But as a psychic, I don't give my opinions. I don't tell people what they should or should not do. I say, here's the information. If you decide to do this, then these are the things that you can expect. If you decide not to do a thing about it, this is what you can expect from, being inactive about this certain situation. So I just give them the information that they've needed, and they have to make that decision. I don't counsel anybody in a psychic mode. I've come across individuals that have done that. I'm a fly on the wall and I'm listening to somebody maybe giving a reading to someone, and it's not really a reading. They're not offering any psychic insights. They're offering their advice. They're offering their opinions, and they might counsel them like, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss, or, whatever the case may be. And that's not me, and it's not my role at all to do that.
Excellent. So you provide psychic insights.
Yes.
I like that a lot. That's going on the catchphrase for the show. She's psychic clairvoyant Angela Thomas, and author. That's important too.
Absolutely.
And she provides psychic insights, and you can find out information about Angela at her website at www.angelathomas.org, and we'll have links for that up on our website at www.whatareyouafraidofpodcast.com. She's host of On the Fringe radio podcast. You can find that at www.onthefringemedia.com, and she's got 2 upcoming books coming out: 3-Dimensional Tarot, The Art of Gathering Information, and Developing Your Psychic Abilities, a fast-track guide to enhancing your gifts. Well, it's been wonderful speaking to you, and it's been most enlightening, and I'm so glad you could come and join us for our Psychic Spring series, speaking to psychics of all sorts of varying kinds and degrees and personalities from around the world on What Are You Afraid of Horror and Paranormal Show.
Thank you, Fox. I enjoyed speaking with you today.
Mercy, a new horror medical thriller from author T. Fox Dunham, published by Bloodbound Books. Based on the author's horrific battle with a rare form of lymphoma that involved intense chemotherapy and radiation, Fox turns the horror of his experience into terror on the page.
William Saint is dying of cancer. On most days, death seems like a humane alternative to the treatment. Stricken with fever, William is rushed to Mercy, notorious as a place to send the sickest of the poor and uninsured to be forgotten, and finds the hospital in even worse condition than his previous visit.
Willie's memories faded. He grabbed his sack head, the sack head of the scarecrow, picking at the exposed chicken wire to hold them in. However, the memories fell out of the holes in his face. They wormed and crawled from the leather flesh and the old clothing of the scarecrow, then squirmed and wiggled down his body.
The grounds are unkempt, the foundation is cracking, and like the wild mushrooms sprouting from the fissures of decay around it, something is growing inside the hospital. Something dark.
Fangoria gives Mercy 3.5 out of 4 skulls. Dunham has channeled his many brushes with the other side into the exquisitely rendered, lyrical, supernatural hospital thriller Mercy.
It's feeding on the sickness and sustaining itself on the staff, changing them, and now it wants Willie.
Come now, Mr. Saint. Just a little more of that sweet milk. So salty and so good. You won't miss it. And we ever do so like our delicacies here at Mercy Hospital.
Part medical horror, part supernatural suspense, Mercy is a hard-hitting fever dream of a novel. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Tim Wagner, author of The Way of All Flesh and Eat the Night. Available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and bookstores everywhere in both print and digital versions.
Life is an addiction.
Let go. Let it all burn.
Caliburn Press, LLC is a Madison, Wisconsin-based publishing company owned and operated by Alan Ledden. Caliburn works with talented writers, artists, editors, and marketers throughout the United States, and you can find their books through their many imprints that include Damnation Books, Eternal Press, Maleferia Press, Ciento Sordida Publishing, and Spiro Publishing. Please visit their website at sites.google.com/site/Caliburn Press LLC/home, or Google Caliburn Press to check out their growing list of titles on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and any other place fine books are sold.
Rat! Where are you going?
I'm going back to the Paranormal View, back where I belong.
Please, take me with you.
No, I'm through with everything here. I want to see if there's something left in life I haven't explored. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, Rat, don't run to them. They talk about ghosts and hauntings, UFOs, and all kind of supernatural scary stuff.
You'll never understand, will you, Scarlet?
No!
Well, that's your misfortune.
Rat, if you go, where shall I go? What shall I do?
Frankly, my dear... Line!
You gotta be kidding.
That's the Paranormal View with your host, Henry Foister, Jeffrey Gould, and Barbara Duncan. Every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on the Para X Radio.
So, do you hear that wind out there, Phil?
Yeah, it's blowing up.
Yeah, this is our extended content. We had to do the show at 58 minutes for Para X, but for our download version, we do a bit of a longer show. And we are under like 5 weather warnings. Looking at the phone tonight here out in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
It's we got a tornado warning, 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, 1 flood warning, and a Krampus warning.
A Krampus warning.
We are at a Krampus warning.
Gotta love the Krampus warning.
I guess he got away from Katie.
Yeah. He's here.
Krampus is out. He's free.
Katie, how did you let him go?
Yeah, Katie, come on now. Sure. Once a year we'll have him on the show, but we are under a Krampus warning in eastern Pennsylvania.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. So it's episode 84. God, it's getting dark in here.
It is getting dark, and it's only 5:15.
I know. We're supposed to. Alice and I have to go vote in the primaries tonight.
Oh boy.
So she wants to get out here. It's going to be, I got to get the submarine out of dry dock.
Oh boy.
So we had the Ghost Bus. We talked about scary movies. And I was reading earlier today about the Amityville Horror we were talking about.
Right.
And this guy who wrote this book called Mentally Ill in Amityville.
Okay.
And I'm going to try and get in touch with him. And he talked about all these interesting things that were never released about the story. Like Ronnie DeFeo, apparently, according to the autopsy, had intercourse the night he killed his family.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting, yeah.
Well, it reminds me of the Smurls.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Smurl family out in Pennsylvania?
Right,
Here, they were haunted by a demonic being.
Okay.
And the demonic being actually sexually assaulted her husband.
Oh, God.
Several times.
Jeez.
Would throw him down the stairs and jump on top of him.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to demonic hauntings, if you were haunted by a demon, would you be excited or terrified?
I wouldn't like it. I'd be terrified.
Would you be terrified?
No, I wouldn't like it, no.
What would you do if the walls started bleeding and you started hearing demonic voices?
Yes, I wouldn't like that.
What would you do? What would be your response?
I would probably get out of wherever the hell that was coming from. If it was coming from a place I was staying or whatever, I wouldn't stay there, obviously. Right. If it was coming from a house or my home or whatever, I would probably contact the church.
The church, okay.
Yeah.
You're a Catholic.
Yes.
I know you were raised Catholic and you were confirmed.
Yeah.
And such like that. And so they have mechanisms for this sort of thing now.
Because they have, I would have to go, my church, the one that's near me, I don't think they'd have any kind of facilities for exorcisms or a house exorcism, or something like that, cleansing a home or something like that. I don't know how they would even go about doing that.
Yeah.
I would probably look up stuff online, things that have worked, just different methods, not even just the Catholicism method, but other methods.
If you came to me
and
you said, Fox, I have a demon in my house, I would advise a couple of things. First thing I would do would be to advise you of a cleansing.
Yes.
And this is a mix of different mythologies. And one of the usage, and this is something that's been used in most religions, too, is sea salt.
Okay.
Not just regular salt, but sea salt.
Right.
And you can sort of spray this around, and it'll absorb the negativity, and then you vacuum it up.
Okay.
Yeah. And something else that is done is smudging.
Smudging, okay.
Are you familiar with smudging?
I don't know. No, I'm
the
not.
burning of sage.
Oh, sage. Okay, yeah.
Like you get a smudge stick, which is
Okay.
like a bundle of sage wrapped up with some string, and often you put it on a seashell.
Okay.
And take like a turkey feather.
All right.
And you light it as an incense, and then you let it sort of blow about the house, and you open up all the windows so the negativity will leave.
See, I would do that. I would do whatever it took. Basically, I would try any method. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as there's some relevance to it.
There are rituals besides Christian white. They call it Christian white magic.
Okay.
If you want to start calling things by different names, Christian white magic is the same as Christian prayer, like exorcism. But there's also other ways of like prayer is a form of positive energy.
Right.
That you push out. But there's also like casting out ceremonies. There's protection ceremonies.
Okay.
And things like that. And it's also very mental. So it's not just a matter of casting out the demon from your house. It's also casting out any darkness or negativity that has taken a hold of your heart.
Right.
Because they're not looking to possess the place, they're looking to get into you.
Right.
They want to manipulate you. What do they need a house for?
Exactly.
Hello, my name's Astroth, and I'm looking for a 3-bedroom condo on the east side. No, they want to get into innocence. They want to be here.
Right.
It's just like the dead.
Right.
So it's kind of like doing white light ceremonies, meditation, cleansing yourself of negativity, and they like to feed on people emotionally hurting.
Yeah, are you a fan of the Conjuring franchise?
Oh, very much so. I am.
There's the whole canon, Annabelle.
I haven't seen
Conjuring.
Annabelle.
You haven't seen Annabelle?
It's on my list.
First Annabelle that came out, which is decent.
Yeah,
it's decent.
Okay.
And then there's the one that came out recently, which is a prequel. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Annabelle.
The Possession or something. The Conjuring.
No, it's Annabelle something. Anyway, I can look it up. But anyway, that one I saw it once. That was a prequel. I would recommend watching that one first because it is a prequel, and then watching the one that came out first, second. Annabelle Creation.
Annabelle Creation. That's what it was.
Yes.
About where Annabelle came from.
I would watch that one first if I were you. They're really good.
They invited some girl, a spirit of a girl, to live in a doll and stay with them, and that's how it happened.
The girl owned a doll, and she was killed by a hit and run.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if the car ran, but she was killed by a car. And this doll started doing strange things afterwards. Parents of this girl, they opened up a boarding house for these Catholic girls to stay at. And this doll kind of just infiltrated and wound its way into these girls' lives. Yeah. And just wreaked havoc.
Coming to life.
Yeah. It would, they would put it in closets. It would, and then they would come back later, and it would be sitting at a table across the room by itself. There's no way it could have gotten out by itself because no one was in the house or whatever. It's just, and it was really done well though. The atmosphere, really just very good. It was very good.
We were at Penhurst Asylum when those girls came up to the table and talked about the same thing happening to them.
Yeah.
About that weird doll that used to spew demonic phrases, and they threw it in the closet and they found it under the bed.
God, yeah.
Yeah, that was on one of our Penhurst episodes. We recorded that.
Yep. That was last October.
Yeah, it was. That was fun. Well, hopefully, if all goes well, we will be down the shore this year. To do a show.
That's definite.
And I know we'll be at Selma Paranormal. In fact, I'm talking to Bill Reap of Reaper Investigations.
Okay.
And we're trying to get him on the show. Reap Investigations, maybe next episode. Maybe.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And hopefully we'll get down the first Friday on June 1st.
Yeah.
Go and sit and hang out at Comic Zen.
Yeah, Comic Zen. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So
first Friday is always fun.
I know it is fun.
Yeah.
Especially in this weather. So yeah.
I can't believe the last time we were there was October.
Yeah, we were down for the Zombie Night.
Yeah, that was October.
The Zombie
last
Walk.
Time. Yeah, Zombie Walk. That was fun.
Yeah, it was. But I got the website updated at www.whatareyoufraidofpodcast.com, where you can find all of our previous episodes, content, expanded information, and ghost stories.
Yeah.
Narrate ghost stories.
That's right.
Plus links to a lot of the cool stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like the people on the show and stuff.
Oh, we have it all there. We have it all.
And I've been talking to Katrina Weidman, and she wants to bring Atherton Paranormal on.
Yeah.
So we're talking about
That's
October
exciting.
again.
Yeah, I know. That'd be great.
Yeah, and Uncle Lloyd Kaufman's looking for extras to be in his Shakespeare Toxie movie.
Yeah, I've heard that. That's hey, maybe we should do that.
I want to talk to you about it.
We should do that. Yeah.
Call Uncle Lloyd. And
maybe we'll be in
extras.
We'll be in a trauma movie, maybe.
Because I'll be up in New York on June 14th and 15th.
Right.
I'm part of the HWA's reading up there.
Right.
And then good old John Foster's throwing a party.
Okay, cool.
And then, so it's going to be a fun couple of weeks.
That'll be a good show.
Hi, this is Tim from Comic Zen. We're located at 301A West Main Street in Lansdale, right near the intersection with Susquehanna Avenue. We have new comics, old comics, graphic novels, including comics made just for kids, action figures, statues, comic supplies, board games, card games, and much more. We have a special order service for both comics and games, and we have a comic subscription service so you don't miss your monthly issues. So come to Comic Zen. Just don't upset the samurai ghost who haunts the store.
And guess what, kiddies? Foxy and Philly will be recording live from Comic Zen in Lansdale every first Friday of the month. So come down and see us at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Well, not then, because we will be recording live for the Philly Foxy Haunted Spooky Hour on ParaX Radio. And bring your ghost stories a little before or a little after, and we'll be glad to collect them at Comic Zen. First Fridays at Comic Zen.
Comic Zen.
But that was wonderful Angela Thomas on the show. You know, she'll be back.
Yeah.
As part of our Psychic Summer. And we'll be bringing more psychics on over the next few months.
Yes, we will.
And we'll be in Selma on June 9th and 10th. That'll be fun.
That'd be great.
In Norristown.
Yep. I'm looking forward to that.
I am too.
That's going to be fun.
Oh, Trisha's coming down. PDK.
Yeah, I know. That's going to be great. Looking forward to it.
It's been fun, though. Ghost Buses.
Yeah.
Of Philadelphia.
Ghost Buses.
Episode 84. Movies, ghosts, exorcism, amityville. It's been a cool episode.
We're approaching episode 100.
Episode 1. We're getting there. I was thinking we could do 100 ghosts.
15 more after this, and we're there.
And then I'll be dead.
And you'll be dead.
That's when I can die. That's it. I'm done.
And you're done. 100 episodes, right?
100 episodes. We are out. No, I don't think so. We'll keep going as long as we can.
We're going to keep going.
Yeah, I think so. We've got a good thing going here. And like I said, check out the website at www.whatareyouafraidofpodcast.com. And if this is ParaX, remember we've got a longer version that you can download from the website and from our download services. We'll kind of be doing that sometimes.
Yeah, right.
You know, depending on our content. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Angela Thomas. Okay,
yeah, thank you.
It looks like you're going to drown in a minute.
Yeah, it's really blowing up out there.
I keep thinking we're going to get a massive thunderclap soon.
Yep.
But I want to send you home, and we got to go out and vote, which she's going to insist on. But it's been fun doing the show.
Oh, yeah. Blast, dude.
Yeah.
Great time.
We'll be back next week.
Yes, we will.
I'm T. Fox Dunham.
And I'm Phil Thomas.
One more.
T. Fox Dunham lives in Philadelphia with his wife Allison. He's a lymphoma survivor, cancer patient, modern bard, and historian. His first book, The Street Martyr, was published by Gutter Books. A major motion picture based on the book is being produced by Throughline Films. Destroying the Tangible Illusion of Reality or Searching for Andy Kaufman, a book about what it's like to be dying of cancer, was recently released from Perpetual Motion Machine Publishing, and Fox has a story in the next Stargate anthology from MGM and Fandemonium Books, Points of Origin. Fox is an active member of the Horror Writers Association, and he's had published hundreds of short stories and articles. His motto is Wrecking Civilization, one story at a time.
Phil Thomas is an author and screenwriter from the suburbs of Philadelphia. His screenplays have been produced into feature films False Face and Always from Darkness, and are available in major retailers such as Best Buy and Target, as well as availability on Netflix and Amazon On Demand. His short films can be viewed on his YouTube channel, Film Zero Presents. He is a member of the International Association of Professional Writers and Editors, and he currently writes for Cultured Vultures, Game Skinny, and BloodyDisgusting.com. His first novel, The Poe Predicament, is being published in 2018 by Caliburn Press.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of ParaX, its affiliates, or its sponsors.